So, welcome back, everyone, and welcome back to another Friday of Never Going Home. As always, I'm joined by my lovely cast. Tonight we have Carl.
Hello.
We've got Split.
That is me.
We've got Upgraded Moon, Jordan.
I got chicken this evening.
And we've got Sander.
Hi.
Xander, who has a significant lack of chicken.
Tragic.
I do have a significant lack of chicken. It's unfortunate. I had ahi tuna for dinner, and that was tasty, but it ain't chicken, so...
Let's go ahead and get an F in chat and a prayer.
F in chat and prayer, man.
F in chat and a prayer, please.
Likes charge, reblogs cast, you know, the whole thing.
Yep. Make sure you submit bits and give us your Fs to give soldiers overseas the chicken nuggies they deserve.
And don't forget those 3 funky digits on the back of the card. Anyway, jokes aside, does anyone feel up to... Does anyone feel up to doing a recap of what happened last time?
I feel like
no pressure.
Yeah, I feel like I honestly enjoy hearing your recaps. So I think that yeah.
Okay, all right. Let me take a swig.
Unless anyone else wants to recap, I'm just saying, like, that was telling us things.
Everyone nodded in unison, so I think it's me.
I don't trust myself.
Me neither.
All right, so last time, in the unfortunate mishaps of our unit, they were in the midst of investigating a bizarre phenomenon that was happening in a section of Trent. They had been tasked with bringing some sort of special, more advanced gas masks to this area, and then the officer, parentheses, the officers of the aid station sort of pointed them in direction of, well, I guess it's not quite gas, because gas doesn't linger in a place for, about a week or so and continue to spread. Something unnatural was going on, and they were tasked with going in to investigate it. So they had done so. They had been escorted by one of the survivors of the survivor of the previous expedition to go in, who, quite unfortunately, was, something wasn't quite right with him. Either way, they traversed the area. They encountered a German scouting party, which seemed to be looking for something, whatever that something was. They continued, and they found the source, the nexus of the gas. It was an artillery shell. It had taken a direct hit on a dugout, and it was spewing forth this noxious, diseased gas that was causing all sorts of vermin to come crawling out of the woodworks. So, with some knowledge of whispers and magic, they were able to disable the gas canister, but unfortunately they woke something up that was in the dugout that probably was there when the first impact happened. Luckily, they defeated the thing. It wasn't a person anymore. They defeated the thing easily enough. Unluckily, they were beset by rats. And not just rats, trench rats. And not just trench rats, but they all seemed to be working with almost a singular purpose. They were everywhere. They were a veritable swarm, a wave of vermin, and as the artillery shell was tossed back to the privates and they were told to flee, the second lieutenant waded into the sea of rats, taking injuries from them, and used his magic to turn the tide. And then the German scouting party they encountered also showed up, gave a little bit of backup in the form of a flamethrower. There's a tense but amicable exchange between the lot of them, and luckily our unit was able to head back to the aid station relatively unscathed, Although, Private McKinley kind of took an interest in that artillery shell, did a little bit of thinking on it, did a little bit of studying on it, and he's maybe got some abilities that we aren't used to yet. So they made it back. They spoke with Newkirk, the surgeon, one of the commanding officers of the aid station, and he mentioned that there was a party that went. There was another unit that went out to investigate a sort of targeted attack on one of the supply depots nearby, but they hadn't come back, and there had been other attacks in the area. So please watch out for that. And also, he had a personal friend who was amidst that unit. So if you ended up seeing them, just point them in his direction, or at least send word. So that's where we left off. And you all are pretty much, well, free is a relative term when it comes to the military and the army and such, but there is sort of a local command post that you'd know of that I presume you would want to either report to if you didn't want to do anything else.
I mean, probably. Nothing else comes to mind, at least on my end of things. Reporting is probably, gonna do that, especially since I'm the commanding officer.
Of course, second lieutenant.
Of course.
So,
Of course.
yeah. So, it's pretty easy to figure out generally where the direction of that command post is. It was already mentioned that it was sort of in the area, and there are definitely more than a few people who are willing to give their own versions of different directions as to where things go. So, we're actually going to start out with the journey. So, wrong journey. The journey. So, things have been happening. You've been hearing rumors, you've been hearing all sorts of strange questions, strange whispers, about whispers, and the fact that Command and even others have been trying to perhaps use the power that's been available to win the war. So, the requirement for this journey is I want no more than one black card from the lot of you. And the question that I want you all to answer is Command justified in using the power of the others to win the war?
The others.
The others.
The whispers.
The whispers. The things from beyond the tear in the veil. So, when you're ready, just drag it out onto the table.
Are we supposed to be on the journey screen right now?
Yeah, I'll drag you guys over there. Sorry.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Just make no worries. Then yeah, I already have my card, so I'll go ahead and draw that out.
I may have placed my card over on the other screen.
Grab it. It's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's fine.
Ooh, tough question.
One black card.
No, yeah, no more than one.
No
black
more
card.
than one black card.
I see.
Yes.
So
we could just have no black cards.
You could.
And
That would be a success.
Cool.
All right, I have 3. I'm waiting on one more.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I got my last one. Sorry.
Bada bingus.
All right. Very, very interesting. Let me give me a moment to set up here. So how about we have Xander, you take this one if you don't mind.
Okay.
Let me know how you answer that question.
Interesting. Based on this card, yeah?
Correct.
I'm allowed to say what the card that I got is,
Yes,
right?
please, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, cool. So it was a 10 of diamonds, which relates to the self. Now, last episode, Faulkner famously gave up any concern for his own well-being over that of those under his command. However, since this card has to do with ambition and hopes, I'm gonna actually do like a cool twist on this concept, which is not ambition in Faulkner's sense, but he knows that ambition of the powerful inherently corrupts intention. And so he does not believe that the powers that be should be utilizing these other things. Not because he doesn't necessarily think he utilizes magic himself, but like not because he thinks it's like, oh, it's bad to use this stuff. He's like, no. Putting this in the hands of an industrial war effort and like the hands of the powerful is disastrous. Under no circumstances should anyone in power in any official capacity be using these things.
Well said, Second Lieutenant.
I try my best.
All right, let's have Split take this one, if you will.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I see. The Nine of Diamonds.
Right.
Also to do with self and ambition and hope.
So tell me, Morose, is command justified in using the others to win?
Well, if you ask me, it gives us a hell of a leg up in the war effort, and it does not seem like we are the only ones who do. So, that all being said, I suppose in the old classic way, we just have to be better at it.
Thank you.
What a fucking British answer.
Right? All right. Carl, if you would take this one, please.
Okay, so taking into consideration,
Sorry, what card is it?
oh, sorry, it is the same one I sent out. It's,
Oh, how about that?
it's Four of Hearts.
Right.
So, taking into consideration last session, he completely lost his reason to live and he doesn't know why he's here and doesn't care anymore. That doesn't necessarily play into his logistics toward things. So, he figures, considering what happened with the shell and the gas and everything, he figures if the Germans are going to play dirty with the abilities of the others, why not let it be used? And considering he now understands a little bit of the whispers and has the ability to play into that, he's kind of on the side of them doing it. Because, I mean, like, the quicker the war is over, the quicker they can figure out how to close the rift. At least that's what he thinks.
Very true, Private McKinley. Although, that is an assumption, isn't it? Closing the rift being a goal. Anyway.
Indeed.
So, last but certainly not least, Jordan, if you would take this card.
All right. So I got a 6 of diamonds, appealing to the self. Thatch has never believed in a devil. From the way that he was raised, there was no Lucifer to reap, punishment over people. What's come out of the veil, that seems to be the big punishment, and he doesn't feel that people should be using that punishment to further gain. This is what the world is, giving to us for doing something bad in the first place, and sometimes a veil is there for a reason, and we tore that.
Interesting.
That's where Thatch sits with that.
Well, at least the people in charge cause that to tear. All right. Thank you so much. It looks like you succeeded on the requirement of the mission, so that's great. That means you get a benefit as opposed to a negative. So before you set out, as apparently he is wont to do, Captain Newkirk, the surgeon, flags you all down. And he's spoken to you before about what has sort of been going on in the area, but before you head out for the command post, he sort of motions you into a less traversed area and just kind of, without too much ceremony, plops down a few, I guess you would say, you would call them maybe medkits. Either way, they're bundles of medical supplies that look fairly useful. And he, kind of in a conspiratorial voice tone, just, if you find the unit that's missing with, Gray and all, this might be helpful, and if you wouldn't mind passing it on to them, I would be I would be very appreciative of it.
Like I said the day before, we will keep an eye out for if anything comes to our attention.
As Faulkner is giving that little, hey, don't get your hopes up, Morose is pointedly picking up the med kits.
Right. No, of course. It's, well, if it ends up that way, at least. And if it doesn't, well, you all at least will probably get some use out of them.
Thank you.
Right. No, right. Yeah.
He sort of, yeah. Sorry,
No,
he
go
sort of
ahead.
like scrutinizes you all, looks you all up and down. Right?
Yep, alright, boots on the ground, lads, 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
The Captain Newkirk does sort of a lazy kind of salute and, still throwing a backward glance at you all, heads off to attend to his duties, which are many. It is still an active aid station. So, congratulations. You have 3 kits of medical supplies.
Whoa.
Each kit can be used to heal or negate 1 point of damage instead of having to use a card.
Gotcha. That's super useful.
That's really fucking nice.
That's neat.
The whole journey to this command station, we all know Harry's keeping an eye out.
Mm-hmm.
He's always keeping an eye out. But particularly for any sign of the location where that unit was last seen.
Yeah, you don't actually cross the area where the supply depot was, which is where they were sent to investigate things. It's kind of out of the way and would require pretty significant deviation from the area. However, the command station is easy enough to find, so there's that at least. And, well, you all approach it, but it's kind of empty. There aren't any guards, not in the way that you would expect. You don't really see too much in the way of any soldiers, really.
Odd.
Kinley, Morose, keep your guns out.
Harry
All right.
pulls his rifle from his shoulder.
Nothing actively aimed, just keep it at the ready in case anything fucky happens. Thatch, I want you with me.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna go take a closer look. Just kind of, you two, get our backs. Just keep an eye peeled. There's something something feels wrong.
All right.
Right.
The command post has kind of taken over what looks like was a sort of storage shed or a barn of some kind. It definitely wasn't a human residence, at least not before the British Expeditionary Forces showed up. And the doors are closed, and you still... It's very, very quiet.
Right. This is not. I look at Thatch and just be like, "How good are you at moving quietly, boy?"
Not the greatest, but
Yeah. No, neither am I. That's all right.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, no, we're just gonna not even risk it and just kind of move as is. I got a shrapnel in my knee. It's a little stiff from time to time. So let's just, what do you think? Perimeter search, eh?
Sounds good.
I think so too. I'll just kind of stalk the perimeter, and if we don't see anything after that, I say we go inside very cautiously, while our friends got our backs.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Light wave.
McKinley, you had your hand raised.
Oh, no, sorry. I thought better of it.
Oh,
Interesting.
darn.
Oh.
Lame. Unfortunate. Okay. It's alright. I'm sure you'll think worse of it in the future.
Oh God.
Uh,
Right, yeah. Now we're gonna Thatch and I are gonna walk around the perimeter of the building and see if we notice anything untoward. Yeah.
Alright. I would like both of you to roll me... roll me investigation, and we'll give it a target number of 1, please.
Okay. I'm gonna use 2 extra points so I can actually roll
Yeah,
some
4
dice.
Alright.
points from me, and I'm gonna save 1 in the pot for if I need to
Actually,
buy anything.
I'll put 3 points in and then I'll save it.
2 successes from
Alright.
me. Yeah, there
That's
we
one
go.
success.
There we go.
Actually, just use a point to re-roll that too, just cause
Yeah, go for it.
Do it, man.
I'm crazy like that.
Wilding out.
Rolled a 2 again.
You rolled a 2 again.
I had the
Okay.
extra point. I'm not even worried about it.
Yeah, it's fucking very good. Very good.
You two sort of make your way, doing a little, taking your time, seeing if there are any, signs of anything. But no, it's still the same emptiness. It's still that same almost droning silence. There is kind of a, I guess you would call it a stall opening that you can look through. And looking through it, it looks like the place was wired up in terms of communication. You see there are some sort of supplies and desks scattered around, but you don't really see any people. It does look like the place is in a significant state of disarray, but there's no one there, as far as you can tell.
You just said the place was wired up for communications, right?
Yes.
Okay, so just from looking in, just from our walk around glance, did I see any radios, any communication equipment specifically, or just the fact that it was rigged for communication?
With 2 successes, I think you would have noticed there would have been there would have been wiring and stuff like that. However,
Cool.
looking into the place, you would have noticed the wiring, then following it back, you would have also seen that the wiring had been cut.
That's what I was afraid of.
Now that we're inside, is there anything on the floor?
Oh, so you go inside, yes?
Or
Yeah.
do we want to go inside?
Yeah, I think we should. I mean, we
Okay.
walk the perimeter. The radio's fucking cut, so there's not much we can do there. So yeah,
Yeah.
just on my 6, go through the door. No, come on.
Is there anything on the floor?
Right.
It's
So?
a weird impulse.
Oh, I
thought that
don't
just
like the way
had.
you said "all right." I don't like the way you said all right. That was not good.
I love
Don't like
I
that.
love making you suffer, Xander. It's very
Oh,
good.
you're good at it. I hate it.
All right. So,
Oh,
Yeah,
Carl
well
has their
done.
hand raised.
yes, McKinley.
Yeah, so sorry. I was gonna say, do Murrows and McKinley follow after?
No,
I would assume.
no, we don't. We're standing guard.
Okay.
If McKinley tries to be like, "Oh, that's our cue," fucking Harry's just gonna put a fucking hand on his chest, look at him like, "What are you doing?"
Oh yeah, he'd totally do that because remember he doesn't have respect for authority anymore. Wee.
Oh no.
Yeah, he lost that in the
Yeah,
war.
follow up.
I
Lomaze is
stand by what
devastated.
I said. McKinley's gonna turn into Sam Neill and fucking Event Horizon. Just the whole where we're going, we don't need eyes.
Wait,
Just
guys,
the whole thing.
just gotta listen to the whispers.
Oh my god. All right. Faulkner's in through the door first. Give me that really fucking creepy all right again.
All right. So,
Different brand, I like it. Nice job.
let's do a little bit of a change in atmosphere.
Oh,
I say as
God.
I look through
Fuck.
things.
Fuck.
Yo,
Yeah.
Jordan is so scared right now. I need to illustrate.
Bro, we're fucking walking in. Oh no.
He's got like his hands.
Oh,
He's got like
I
fists
use
up
this
to his
track
mouth, like,
all the
"Ah!"
time. I use this track all the time on Masks and Yell at Hotep. I hate it.
Thanks for giving me your epidemic sound login. Anyway, so
Right
Oh boy.
you
Loser.
you enter the barn. It's fairly easy. The place isn't locked. Actually, scratch that. It was locked. It looks like the doors that you went in by had bolts on them, but the bolts had been broken into. They sort of hang, swinging as the nails were torn out of the other end of the wood. And the first thing that strikes you is, and it didn't really hit you from the outside looking in, but it smells. It smells like the front line, which is a place, it's a thing that you wouldn't necessarily expect here. And the other thing that strikes you is, well, let's just say it's a little more, it takes up a little more of your attention. There is someone on the floor. So, there you are, Thatch. There was something on the floor, indeed. On the floorboards of the barn, there is a mostly decayed corpse in the midst of this sort of scattered about detritus and supplies and all sorts of that thing. It's all kind of been pushed aside to have this splayed corpse out on the ground. And there are a few notable things about it that you can get right away. First off, it's been partially flayed. You can see the ribcage, you can see the bones of it. Second off, there is a bayonet that has been sort of spiked through the center of the corpse, almost through what you guess is the middle, the spine area.
I'll give you 5 whole pounds. That thing's gonna get up again at some point.
Don't say that. And Thatch takes out his gun, just kind of like at the ready. So we have something that's on the floor,
Yeah.
but is there anything in the floor?
You know
It's
what?
here under the floorboards.
Roll me another investigation and give me 1 success, please.
Love the mental image of Falconer and Thatch looking at each other like, better safe than sorry, better safe than sorry. Brrr, opening
Bow, bow,
fire
bow,
on the
bow, bow.
ground, just like firing fully around the place.
All right.
You kill the
Oh, I'll
only
take
2
it.
survivors.
Like, whoops.
Well, judging from the perimeter that you ran around the building and now coming inside, It looks like this barn was built fairly flush to the ground. There's not much in terms of a crawl space underneath the floorboards.
Cool.
And sort of looking in closer, you see that the bayonet that's been driven into the corpse has also been driven into the floorboards beneath. And I mean, you know how bayonets work.
Yeah.
You know, there are it's only a few inches deep, so it really looks like there isn't much space beneath the floor
Now,
for anything to be.
Is there a distinction between our bayonets and Jerry bayonets? Is there like some kind of make of how they make their weaponry? Does this look? Which way are we looking here?
Absolutely, and you know, you all would know this very intimately. It doesn't look American. It doesn't look French. It doesn't look German.
Oh,
It looks British.
all right. Okay. So we got the body on the ground. Obviously, it's gross as fuck. What the immediate surroundings? Are there like rooms here, or is this more like an open space of sorts?
It's more like an open space. There are sort of makeshift desks and areas. You can kind of see the wire has been sort of stapled to the telephone wire has been sort of stapled to the wall and snakes down. There aren't really any rooms. It's mainly a large sort of thing.
My thought process right now is while Thatch is looking at this, even though I know it's cut, I want Faulkner to like follow the wire. I want to find the communications devices that are hooked up here, even though obviously they're cut. Because my line of thinking is usually radios have paper next to them where people are writing notes with the radio. I want to see if there's any written records of things that have been communicated in and out of this place. So I'm going to go like look for the communications area.
Yeah, no, that's easy enough to find. The place is fairly open, so I won't make you roll for it.
Cool.
You find the radio, you find the receiver, you find the sort of telephone lines, and sort of rifling through the desk and the papers that are strewn about, the most relevant thing that you find is what seems like it looks like a report of some kind, like an incident report that you would perhaps file maybe in another life or another place, or some other officer would. And it's a little vague, but it seems to be a description of an incident that happened. It actually, reading it, it's a description of a raid that happened on a supply depot about a week or so ago.
Where's the supply depot? What happened?
It mentions that there was a raid in the middle of the night. They seem to know when the guard would be posted, and the survivor that managed to make it out and make the report mentioned that the raid seemed to be led by a soldier who didn't wear an insignia, had kind of a patchwork uniform. They weren't able to tell exactly what nationality they were or what army they belonged to. And no matter how much this soldier was shot, they didn't falter.
Do I smell the bad guy? I'm gonna file that one in the old Rolodex.
And this also... Sorry?
Thatch was gonna ask, should we put a couple shots in him just to make sure?
No, unless it moves and I owe you money if it doesn't, so, you know. That's cheating if you kill it before it gets up, so just,
Yes, sir.
Hey. Alright, that said, can you look at do you see any, I mean, it's flayed, there's no, markings on it at all, is there? No, like, uniform left?
In terms of the body itself, I would want to have... let me see. I would maybe want to have a knowledge roll of some kind.
Oh, Jesus.
Give me either a knowledge or an investigation roll. Knowledge,
How's your- Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Knowledge, I'd want, actually, for either one, I'd want a target number of 2 successes, please.
Thatch, what's your knowledge?
I got jack shit knowledge.
And what's your smarts?
My smarts is a 2.
I think okay, guts. We both want to roll investigation on this. Yeah,
Guts,
okay.
guts,
Guts. Okay,
guts. All right.
I will do my trademark. Spend 4 points. Keep 1 in the tin. Okay, it's 0 successes. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Cool. All right, there you go. Thatch
Bro, I'm on top of
being
it.
the
I'm
MVP,
crazy.
man.
I'm fucking crazy, bro. I'm fucking
Thatch
crazy.
is built different.
Can I just say I love the fact that most of our soldiers here have like so little smarts.
And then McKinley.
We're just a bunch of fucking dudes. Like,
They're just
we're
a bunch of guys, you know?
just a bunch of
We're
guys.
told to go out for our country. Of course, we're gonna go out for our country.
Hey, because you're gonna go to our country. I'm well. I'm here for. I'm technically here for somebody else's country, but it's neither here nor there.
Well, you're here for your country anyway.
Save
I
it
love
for when
those.
Haig puts the pins the medal on your chest, you know? So,
Right.
Faulkner, you're still a little distracted as to the whole, you know,
Yeah.
messages, and as you're kind of putting together the fact that, hey, the supply depot thing kind of sounds like the thing Newkirk mentioned in terms of
yeah.
what the other unit was investigating.
Yep.
You, Thatch, you kind of get a little closer to the corpse, and I mean, 5 pounds on the line, 5 pounds is 5 pounds, right? So, what you see is it has a variety of different injuries. The uniform itself is very much a British uniform from, you know, the other two that you've been traveling with. It's kind of rotting apart in some places. There are a lot of bullet holes. The jaw of this cadaver is absolutely shattered. There are a lot of different injuries for where it is, if that makes sense. And the ribcage itself, as you draw a little closer, looking at the bayonet, you're still kind of looking at the floorboards a little. It almost... The ribs look like they were broken evenly. Like, there was... It's not at random, if that makes sense. There are even amounts of space in between them. And the bayonet, it's got something either on the blade, kind of on the blacking of the blade, and something like that, but you'd have to probably get in there to see more.
Okay, so Thatch kind of holsters his gun a bit. When you mentioned that the rib cage is like broken almost intentionally, does it look like are the breaks like inverse or like out? Like, did something like come out of him, or did something like squeeze him? Like, is there a way to tell?
No, it's fairly easy to tell. I won't make you roll for this because, I mean, you've got eyes, right? It looks like the bones have been broken outwards. So either something came out or something grabbed and then wrenched out. Either way, it looks like definitely something external to the other wounds that it looks like it sustained.
Okay, and so Thatch starts getting in there. He's gonna start to pull the bayonet out, but like as he's kind of pulling it out, like he's gonna check what exactly is on the blade. If it looks like any sigils or anything, he's not gonna pull the whole thing out.
It
Like,
Listen, you caught a glance of that shell. You've kind of got an idea of how that sort of shit works, and it really looks like those things are carved with some kind of intent.
all right. So Thatch does a sensible thing and just firmly presses it back in, because if he pulls it out, that motherfucker might get up. So he's just gonna go ahead and leave that in there. But he does turn to Faulkner, and he says, something came out of this guy, and he was killed by his peers. Whatever's on this bayonet here, it might be keeping him dead, but I just can't tell.
Fucking gross. Let's not touch it then.
Way ahead of you. And
There's something in him. Let's not let that something out.
the way that his ribs are broken here, it looks like something came out of him. Either that or it's kind of hard to tell. Would you like to take a look?
It's a really shit Jack in the Box. Let me tell you that. It's. I look around and see if there's like some kind of gore trail to see if anything that popped out of him went somewhere.
Oh no, that's a good fucking point. Wait.
I've seen Alien. I've seen Alien. Okay.
Did it go into the
Chest
floors?
burster,
No.
chest
Did it go into
burster.
the floor?
Okay, what fucking go through? Where did this fucking thing go? Is there some sign? Let me look around. Fuck that's.
All right.
Is there a trail?
I don't like the way you say these all right.
Oh, excuse me, princess, for talking.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sorry.
Oh my
All
god,
right,
you're
anyway.
actually banished for that.
Anyway, I want you, Faulkner, to roll me some investigation. However, I'm actually not giving this a target number. The more successes you have, the better.
Is there anything
Yes.
above us?
I'm gonna. Yeah, it's 2 successes. That's all I can get from that. Actually, I'm gonna. You know, what, I'm gonna re-roll that one because fuck it. I spend my
Okay.
last. Gonna spend my last point to re-roll, so I'll just roll d6.
Get it?
It's exactly-
Nice.
Roll the same number, so it's fine. At 8, so that's 2 successes on my end.
All right, Thatch, you flick your eyes up, and in the sort of rafters of the barn, you see that there is a raven that has kind of been watching you all intently. It sort of tilts its head here and there. It's a carrion bird. There's carrion. Now, Faulkner, you do some poking around, you do some looking around here and there. There isn't really a gore trail. Not really. I mean, you find some other things in the area, some kind of odd thing. You find kind of some scraps of clothing with kind of strange patterns on them that really look atypical, not like anything you've ever seen before. You find kind of within the same desk where you found the radio missive, you find this book. It's ancient looking, but when you open the book, all the pages are blank. But as for something that maybe came from inside the chest of this cadaver, nothing.
So the book, it's just all blank, nothing in
It's all blank.
there. What's the cover look like again?
The cover is this sort of cracked ancient leather. There isn't too much in terms of any embossing on it.
I have a
haven't
fucked.
thought.
Yeah, I have a fucked up idea. You go first.
I was gonna say we should put some blood on it. What do you think?
I was going to say we should put some blood on it. That's exactly what I was going to
we
say.
should put some blood on it.
Stick your
Mine or
finger in
yours?
that guy. Put neither. Stick your finger in that guy's sternum.
All right, and he does so. No fucking question about it. Kind of like puts it kind of on the book. Maybe like touches a page with it just to see
A little bit of blood.
a little bit of blood. Do something.
Sure. You kind of put a hesitant finger on one of the pages. Nothing visible happens, but Thatch, your finger tingles a little bit,
Ooh, not doing that again.
but nothing else.
And that, lad, is how you caught HPV.
Oh shit.
Hey,
Actually, Thatch might just do it again. He might.
yeah,
he might just,
yeah.
like-
Faulkner actually this time just is gonna have the thought of like maybe fresh blood, and just gonna like, you know, just kind of like loosely just like pull a badass motherfucker move and just kind of like bite the side of his finger with his teeth just to draw a little bit of blood,
All right, Aaron.
and
Yeager.
like, you know, yeah,
Okay.
and just, you know, put a little blood on the book and see if anything happens just at all.
Yeah, with your own blood, you kind of feel it's more than a tingle. It's almost like kind of a jolt, kind of as if you touched a minor live wire, but it doesn't hurt you, but nothing else really happens.
All right,
But-
seems to be doing something.
But then you hear something. Silly little soldiers. You really think that would do anything?
Is that coming from the body?
Coming from the bird?
It's the body has not moved.
Is it the bird?
It's the raven. The raven is looking down at you, its wings half spread.
I look up at the raven with a cigarette in my mouth. Like just like staring up
Mouth?
at it. Like,
No?
I look up at it and just go, "Did you just speak?"
The raven sort of like tilts its head in a very bird-like way, tilts it the other way. I didn't realize you were stupid too.
Can you? I've been doing a lot of reading on the front lines. Can you say nevermore?
No.
Eh.
Is Thatch hearing this too?
Yes, it is allowed.
All right, yeah, corvid fuck. What you doing here?
Well, there's a corpse, isn't there?
Okay, that's how are you talking to us? Is what I'm asking.
You haven't really encountered many of me before, huh? Well, when you die, when you little soldiers die, you leave behind a very delectable bit of, energy, life. It is very nice. Almost tastes better than eyes. So, that's why I'm here,
I just gesture
waiting
my
for someone
cigarette at
else
the
to
corpse.
die.
Ah, that too. Right. It was split. Your hand's been raised in a dramatic fashion.
I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
How loud is this conversation? And did Harry hear Faulkner go, "Alright, you corvid fuck"?
Well,
I can say I'm not even the game master. I can say you definitely heard Faulkner yell, "All right, you corvid fuck."
Then I have to ask. On one hand, I need a reminder of the environment around the center.
yeah, so the kind of environment around the barn, it looks like this was a farmstead of some kind, so there's a bit of a clearing. There was a dirt road that approached this area that you followed up to the command post. As for whether you heard something or not, if you've ever heard a raven, those caws are loud, so you heard that laughing, calling, something.
Yeah.
So the first thing I wanted to make sure, no immediate threat. Cool, because I can see for a wide margin. Just that clearing's there.
Yeah, no
Second
immediate
of
threat.
all, here's the Corbin fuck thing, and just like McKinley can even see Morose just cock his head in confusion, and then shout into the fucking barn. There's someone in there.
There.
A bird?
What was that?
A talking bird. There's a bird in here.
A talking bird. McKinley, hold on. And Harry fucking makes his way into the barn.
On that note though, Thatch is gonna kind of walk over to the corpse. Well, I can assure you that you definitely don't want whatever this was, because whatever it wasn't alive and it wasn't human. And
He may have
with that,
already
like,
had it, Thatch.
Thatch is kind of like, Thatch is gonna kind of like press a foot on, the bayonet blade just in case the bird tries to.
Oh no,
snatch that.
I think he's already gotten his mail from this corpse. Thatch is what he's saying. He's
All
waiting
the
for it.
delectable bits are gone. The tongue, the eyes. Also, you're wrong. It was human once upon a time. I suppose
now
it
you're-
still is.
Now that your camera's on, this is worse. Do you understand that this is worse? Being able to see you do this voice. I am so disturbed right now.
Shut up. Just accept it and
Good.
continue to listen.
All right, I will. It's really good. It's really good, and I'm terrified, man. This is scary shit.
This is scary shit.
Morose, you enter, I assume.
Morose enters. The raven is talking. Morose takes one look at the raven that is moving its beak up and down and somehow saying audible like human English, and just goes, "What the fuck?" and points his gun at it.
Talking
Talking
bird.
birds.
Oh shit! I just clicked out a roll 20.
So yes, we absolutely said that in time in the game. We're just talking about it.
Talking bird.
No, no, no. We're missing someone.
Yeah, he's outside keeping watch like I ordered him to.
Hmm. Unfortunate.
Are you not going to be useful to our conversation unless all of us are present and accounted for?
You want to
No.
talk to him too?
But he's the most interesting one. I can see it. I can see his fate on him.
McKinley!
McKinley!
There's a
So,
bird that wants to talk to you.
Some
So-
bird wants to see your future.
so McKinley is already being a little bit of a dumbass here. Instead of keeping watch, he's looking
second
in
Morose
through
left
the
him
door.
alone. The second Big Brother Morose left him alone.
He's looking in through the door, and he just kind of goes. He points at himself. It's like, me?
No, the other McKinley.
Bird, McKinley, bird.
And so he just quickly struts inside, and he's just staring up at this raven. He's like,
No, this is not the strangest thing I've dealt with, honestly. I'm
he's just
ashamed. Yeah.
he's just looking between the raven and the other dude. He sees the body on the floor, looks back up at the raven. It's like, what?
Alright. Yeah, alright, we're all here now. Oh.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh,
that's
now
not great.
you are interesting. I wonder, you haven't been here long, have you?
66.
It looks directly at you, McKinley.
No, no, you haven't. And yet. No. Would you like to know? Would you like to know how it happens in the end?
What do you mean?
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
Oh, would you like to know how you end? How you die?
McKinley.
Rules of Scotland.
Because I know exactly what happened.
Scottish
You-
proverb number 1: you do not listen to the witch in the woods who tells you how you're gonna die. Don't go there.
Well, to be fair,
No.
we're not in the woods, and this is a raven.
You don't want to
Oh.
I'm not supporting you, but I'm fucking yeah. No, I'm just giving you shit because this is a situation. McKinley, I don't think you want to know how you want to die.
I think you
don't-
and I both know. Actually, you know something new, don't you?
McKinley, what's the bird fucking talking about?
It will be your downfall. I can hear it now. I can see it. I can taste it. I wonder, Private McKinley, I wonder what your eyes taste like.
Can I shoot
I will
the
so
bird?
look forward to
Can I
tasting them.
shoot the bird?
I've
Yeah,
already
absolute-
got my fucking gun
I did-
trained. Just
Yeah.
call the order.
Yeah, sure. Both of you make me a arranged roll, and the
Before we
target
before we
number-
roll that real quick. Sorry, Jordan. Did you want to say something before we do that or not?
I mainly wanted to ask the bird because he knew some shit about the book. That just putting blood on the book isn't gonna work that way.
Okay, cool. So here's what I'm gonna say. Falconer gives Morose the cigarette gesture of shoot this fucking bird before you then you get to say ask a question about the bird. No, you don't stop. You don't say hold on. What I'm saying is I'm doing the motion. You ask the question. Then Falconer does halts Morose. So it's just yeah, I hear you going for something oh that's actually a smart idea.
It's like,
Stop. Hold on.
fucking Faulkner goes shoot the fucking bird. Morose aims up, and then fucking Thatcher's like, hold on, what about the book? Fucking Morose goes,
Yeah.
slightly
Son of a
lowers it.
bitch.
Son of a bitch! Why are we entertaining the talking bird?
What about it?
I mean, you mentioned that just putting blood on it isn't working. Seems like you know a thing or two about it. What do you know?
Perhaps there are a few pretty little trinkets. Pretty little trinkets people liked playing with. They couldn't get the book to work. They were weak.
Do you know how the book works?
Oh no, not the book. Not necessarily. Either way, they couldn't figure it out either. And even when they were getting close, well, that's when it sort of like leans down from its rafter and it looks down pointedly at the corpse with its thick beak. Well,
Got it.
that's when all that happened. Well,
Right.
that's when they came in and made that happen.
Right, shoot the bird. Just like fucking.
Sure.
Oh no.
Make me a ranged attack roll. The target number is 4.
What's up, Carl?
Oh no, McKinley was gonna raise his hand. It's like, wait, no, I've got, wait, I've got a question, but
I lower
I
Marissa's
don't know if
gun
he's
for the
gonna
second time.
I hold on. This time, just for the added like badassery and
Yeah.
also the dynamic of these two, I want it to be stated that when Faulkner like lowers the gun, Morose was already in the middle of pulling the trigger, so Faulkner lowers the barrel, it shoots directly into the ground. So it's like, God damn it!
Okay,
It's
so
not a fucking bird, and you just want to shoot it?
Yes.
Yes.
so McKinley looks up pointedly at this raven. He's like, "How do you know what's going to happen to me?"
I can see it.
It's fucking magic. What the fuck do you mean?
We're not going to entertain the foreknowledge of how we die. That's an order. None of us are going to entertain this. We're not going to find out how we die, because then they're just a liability to my mission. And at that point, I'll fucking gut you with your own bayonet. I don't fucking know. Just... Alright, we good? I look at Thatch and McKinley's like, can we... Or are we good?
McKinley pointedly ignores the fact that he said this was an order, and he's like, but wait, where did you come
Shut the
from?
fuck up, McKinley. Bird.
I
He
live
addresses
here.
the Raven.
Yes.
You got a name,
No.
Motherfucker. It's gonna do that.
Good. I'm not
and
gonna
then he
feel
shoots the
Yeah,
bird.
I was gonna say,
All
I'm
right.
not gonna feel bad about killing you then. Jeez.
Give me a ranged roll with a target number of 4, please.
I will also roll this just as like backup in case Moreau somehow misses.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn that 4 into
Oh.
a 5.
I reach for my gun, but he shoots it, no problem. I'm just like, all right.
Just immediate.
All right.
Um,
Yeah.
God.
Ever quick on the trigger, Morose. You finally get your opportunity to shoot this fucking piece of shit bird, and it dies laughing.
Hello?
It dies laughing, and it cuts off and it falls to the ground, dead.
I look at Thatch, I look at McKinley, then I look back at Thatch and I say, now if you were back home in New Orleans, wherever you were, and you're just traipsing about a graveyard, and a fucking raven starts telling you, I know how you're going to die. Marlowe Thatch, Private Marlowe Thatch, I know for a fact you would go running back to your home after seeing that happen. It's not
I don't
change
know.
that we should... Yep.
I don't ever
No.
want a death omen. It changes how you think. It makes you a little more reckless.
Exactly. So we killed the bird because it's better that way. We don't need to find out anything about what fate has in store for us, and whether or not it had any answers that we could glean information from. It was a fucking bird. We can find things out for ourselves, And I am firmly of the opinion, if this, I point at the book, led to that, I point at the corpse, we burn this, I point back at the book. So no one can make that, I point at the corpse, happen again.
Sounds good to
Now,
me.
hold on. Can I take a look at the book?
You really want to look at
It's-
the book
you
after
can look-
finding out that happens?
Listen. That happens way more than you fucking believe. Let me look at the book.
Something came out of him.
I pass Morose
Yeah.
the book and is like, and I just say,
Thank
before you open it, what's your mother's address so I can tell her that you died?
Oh, my mother's dead. And he opens up the book.
Morose, the
Mother.
ancient yellowed pages of the book are completely blank.
Yeah, it's blank.
Completely blank.
Completely blank.
Let's see.
He
Is there any
feels
kind
all-
of roll?
Well, I
Sorry.
point out to Morose to just let him know. I let him know that it's like, well, feel a little funny if you put some of your blood on it, but beyond that, doesn't really do anything what we've discovered.
All right. So, blood.
You could try
don't
pissing on it.
work. Is there?
You could try pissing on it.
Ask
I-
around.
Slow head turn towards Thatch as he says that. Like it was actually objectively reasonable of him to say.
Wha-
Could try pissing on it. See what happens. You curious? See what happens.
So anyway, Morose and
What was-
McKinley. Morose and
Hold on.
McKinley, I want.
Hold on. Everything keeps fucking cutting out for me. I don't even know what the fuck that's that.
Oh, you're.
Uh,
It's okay. It's probably.
So,
You're probably all the better for it.
Just, I had a moment. I thought that Xander had said that in character, and so Thatch was like,
Oh, I
"You could
did.
try pissing." Okay,
I did
good.
say it in
He
character.
did.
So that wasn't unwarranted because like
No,
Thatch
the
has just
look
been
you
like
got-
a game for anything that like
The
Folker's
look
just
you
been
got
saying.
was one of the Scotsman making an obvious crude joke, you saying it earnestly, and him just being like, "Did you really? Okay, sure, why not?" Let's piss on that
Honestly,
book."
shit kept
Piss on the
cutting
book.
out for me, but Harry did like give a look to Faulkner of that's an idea before proceeding to look around the barn. Is there any candles around?
All right. Morose.
Wait, what do I need a
please-
candle for? I have a lighter.
I mean, even so, Morose, please make me an investigation roll. The more successes, the better.
Put it on the table.
Nice.
I'm not pissing on the book.
Let us do an investigation roll.
For God and country,
Let's
my
see.
boy. I like pat Thatch on the back.
For how many successes?
The more, the better.
Got any more points you want to put into that?
Son of a bitch. I might have to restart my Discord.
Is it Discord or your
Um,
internet?
It's not my internet.
All right, then might need to reset Discord.
Yeah.
Do you have an
Tell
update?
me one more time the successes, and I'll restart
It does.
while it's rolled.
The more, the better.
Yes.
The more the better. All right,
Mhm.
sick.
God, a part of me is just morbidly curious about. Oh, that's 4 successes. Let's go, baby. A part of me is like morbidly curious
That's
about like.
One.
That's one
Take-
success.
Well, no.
Previous
isn't
one
that-
was
isn't that
ranged.
One success on top of. Oh,
Previous-
that was
yeah.
that was his
big
role to
brain,
shoot the bird.
Big brain, excuse me.
Yeah.
But no, I was thinking, like, what if we just take the bayonet out for a sec to see if it moves, and then just put it back in?
Yeah, let's not.
I mean,
Part
if
of
you
me-
want to.
Me as a player
Let's-
is like partially curious, but I also have a feeling that it'll start moving again, and when it starts moving again, we'll put it back in. But I also don't
Why
want it
don't-
to start moving again because then I lose $5.
Pounds. Thank you very much.
Pounds.
Five
Thank
pounds.
you very much. We're civilized in this country.
That's just like, how much is a pound compared to an American dollar?
You'll find out.
10 times as much because your money is worthless to us.
Yeah.
All right. So you look around Morose, and there are a few things that strike your, I guess, awareness. First off, there's not just the one dead bird. There are actually some other dead birds. There was a sort of a there was sort of a caged area towards the there was an area with cages towards the back of the barn, and you've seen this before. You know, carrier pigeons are a thing, and unfortunately the pigeons in here have been killed. It looks like their necks have been wrung. Otherwise, and actually, between the lot of you, I tallied up your successes. Between the lot of you, you have enough to notice there is a kind of more esoteric looking map of the area. It almost looks like it was sort of a pre-war sort of thing, but there are sort of areas marked on it. And in particular, you, Faulkner, managed to pick this out of the myriad of different files and papers that were strewn about the communications area. There are a number of different either outposts, batteries, depots marked on the map, and all of them are crossed out except for this one and one other one.
That's a lead. Alright. Consolidate that information. I'm gonna keep this with me.
Want to just take the map?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Take the map so we can have that with us. Alright. Morose, you burning the book yet?
Did you piss on the book yet?
Hold on. Hold on. I'm putting some pieces together. All the birds' necks are wrung,
Yes.
right? Does it look like they've been? It's gonna sound a little gruesome. Drained?
No, not from what you
Just-
can tell.
Just looks like all their necks have been like just
Yeah,
snapped.
just a clean snap.
I have the distinct feeling that the people who were here got really fucking sick of the birds like we did.
Possibly. Morose is gonna go ahead, pull out his lighter. First thing he's gonna do, he's gonna bring it like close to the pages in that kind of invisible ink kind of way. See if he can't see anything espionage-esque.
It's blank.
Blank. All blank.
All blank.
Blood doesn't work. I don't really have to piss right now. Fire doesn't work unless I have to burn the page itself, and he rips out a page of the book.
Alright, you have a page of the book.
Just in case, this reveals something or doesn't. I don't want to burn it entirely just yet. And he sets the page on fire.
Alright. You set the page on fire. It burns very easily. It looks like the paper was quite old. There's a small curl of smoke, and you kind of feel this tingle go down your spine, but otherwise, nothing. There is nothing really to be gleaned from this book. It's just odd that it would be here.
This, pointing at the book, got here. This is not some French farmer's personal keepsake. This got here, and I'm just gonna take a stab in the dark here that that has to do with this, pointing at the depot map and like gesturing to like the one unmarked depot, which ties back to our missing friends that we are told about. So all these pieces
we keep
falling
the book.
together. I'm firmly in the camp that we don't keep the book. I still think we should destroy it, even if we have to rip it page by page until it's gone. Because if it did that, I don't want that happening again to us or to anybody. So I say we get rid of it and find out where it came from to prevent more of them from getting around, possibly.
But if we keep the book and then find out later on after we reveal some secrets of it, or die horribly in the process, but let's stay optimistic here. We keep the book, find out how it works. Any other books that just get here, we'll be more prepared for. I
No,
would feel, as our duty, it would be the responsible thing to do.
Morose. Oh, go ahead, Thach.
I don't mind holding on to the book for a while. Maybe it'll help us later.
Not to speak ill of both of your very capable abilities. I'm not going to downplay that. What is giving you the ego that you could fare better with it than he did?
It's not ego, it's responsibility. I'm not saying I can fare any better with anything, especially not with this. I don't know much of anything about this. I'm fairly certain that you know more about it than anyone else.
Why is carrying it around a responsibility and not a liability as opposed to destroying it?
If the Jerrys have it.
McKinley?
What are your thoughts on this, McKinley?
So, I want it known, and I actually said this in the server, that McKinley has been staring down at this dead bird the entire time, just kind of contemplating his existence and having a minor existential crisis about the fact that this bird knew how and when he was going to die. And so he's just kind of thinking about that, and then he looks up at those words, sort of, and he sort of goes, "Oh, sorry, pardon."
Should we keep the book or destroy the book? What's your stake on that?
Pause. McKinley, Faulkner, you, both of you in your own way, start getting an impression, and it's
Just the
similar, just the two of you. And it's the
Yes,
similar sort of
boy.
feeling that's sort of curling in the back of your mind, in the sort of depths between your head, the sort of itch in the depths of your ears, the whispers. The book isn't important, but the bayonet is something. If there is any sort of magic in the area, if there is any sort of effects of whispers or influence of others, it is within that bayonet.
Does it look like, do McKinley and I, do we recognize the other as having this similar revelation?
I don't know. It's up to you. It's up to you two. How obvious you want to make it.
So, McKinley, just as this feeling starts to happen, he already suspected that there was something going on with Faulkner. In fact, he wanted to talk about it before, but he wasn't sure how to approach it. And so he just stares at him dead in the face, like, he just kind of tilts his head downward. It's like, you felt that, didn't you?
Yeah,
just like
share
wordlessly
that,
giving
yeah.
you a look.
Faulkner just gives him a single curt nod, smokes from his cigarette, gives a slight shrug at Thatch and Morose's comments, and just goes, "All right, fuck it, keep the book." Casually walk across the room, rest like a finger on the top of the bayonet, kind of like finger a little bit, just like.
Foot is still on. Are you gonna?
Well, yeah, you're on the corpse. I'm just like fingering the top of the bayonet, just getting a little tickle, just kind of like feeling the metal underneath my fingers. Is your foot on top of the bayonet wholly, or just the body? Yeah, it's fully.
He had his
on
foot
the,
over it.
on the
Yeah,
butt of the bayonet.
yeah.
So I'm just like twiddling it with my finger, just kind of like feeling it under, like just feeling the metal. Hey, just make good on that bet. Pull it out. Pull it out. It's the worst that could happen. Pull it out.
I don't know if I like that.
Oh, but you want to
fuck
keep
it.
the weird, buzzing, bloody old book. That's fine with you.
No, that's fair. We see some
Yes.
shit today. And Thatch
Fucking.
pulls the bayonet out.
Before you do that, like as Thatch is like putting his hand on the fucking handle. Hold on. Morose just very gingerly puts the book down on a table, fucking grabs his rifle back, aims directly at the corpse's head. All
And
right.
then I also
I'm-
pull out my gun right before he pulls it out, and I pull out 5 pounds and just tuck them into your Thatch's breast pocket with the badges, just in case I don't make it out of this one. You can have my 5 pounds. And I point the gun at it while he's getting ready to pull it out.
I appreciate it. But if it starts walking, it's not going back down until we put this back in. Thatch pulls it out as he's saying that.
I can't believe it grapefruited on the way out.
You can't say that here.
Yes, I can.
Yes, you can.
Demonetized.
It's my
So-
fucking Friday slot. We can say whatever. we
YouTube
want.
doesn't recognize.
So
grapefruit
anyways-
in its algorithm.
So anyway. Thatch, you take the handle of the
fuck me.
bayonet. You pull it out of the corpse. It takes a little bit of effort. It seems it was pretty well embedded into both the floorboards underneath and the bones and kind of viscera of the sort of spinal and back area, and nothing happens. You can get a closer look at it now. It looks like the blacking where it was scratched away, where you can see the runes, or rather other symbols, scratchings. You kind of assume they're runes at this point. You see more of them running down the blade. You kind of see where the dried blood was, but the corpse doesn't move. It doesn't do anything, actually.
Thatch goes ahead and he wipes the blade with some of the linen from the corpse.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say I grab like a big scrap of linen, as well as he grabs one to like wipe the blade. I grab one and just like hold out just to wrap the bayonet, and I just like kind of like hold it in my hands for him to like rest it in so we can like wrap it up.
I was
you know,
about to
kind of
say-
returns it.
I was about to say, in terms of like fucking wiping off the blade, Burros was going to offer the book like by the spine where it's unfolded, just like close it around the blade. And
Actually, I think if it's fair for me to say, Jordan, as like we're wiping off the ichor, he's holding the book. We look at the book. We look at the blood where we were like bleeding out earlier. We kind of like look at each other and we're just like,
Fuck it. Fuck it. Man, I love the universal phrase, the international phrase. Fuck it.
Fuck it.
Let's
Just
go.
fuck it. Yeah, we
Yeah.
go ahead. We wipe that shit on the book.
All right.
He goes ahead and Thatch wipes the shit on the book.
You wipe the blood and gore off the blade of the bayonet. You get a better view of the fact that there are these sort of symbols scratched into the blade of it. In closer examinations, you see that the symbols kind of go up the handle as well. And now that both you, Faulkner, and you, McKinley, get a bit of a closer look at it, you kind of get the it's a feeling. It's almost like biting down on tinfoil, but you
Ugh.
get this feeling that
Ugh.
whatever it is, it could be useful in terms of, well, being able to do what you two alone can do at this point in time.
Felt that one in my molars.
all right, so the one with the great destiny and the one who clearly knows more than anybody else has an obsession with the bayonet. What's with the bayonet?
It just looks funky, and it's giving us more to work with than that fucking book is. So I say we wrap it up and take it back to camp with us, just in case it needs to be looked after a little bit more closely,
Do
keeping
you,
it away from the top brass, of course.
You mind if I study it? Perchance.
When we
Tell
get back
me.
to camp. When we get back to camp.
It's like some
I want
self-pride.
everybody's mind focused on the present moment while we're out traveling. When we're back at camp, I'll consider letting you have a look at it.
So McKinley pulls this weird face, like he had a bad taste in his mouth, And he's just kind of listening because in the back of his mind he's still thinking about the raven, and he just kind of nods along with like, yeah, don't let anybody look at it until we're back at camp, yada yada yada. So
Well-
Real quick
Right.
though, it's important to note that Faulkner is giving Thatch one a hell of a stink eye right now.
No,
And that
like,
that
Thatch
so,
isn't-
so
yeah, he's-
obviously that Thatch, like, it's so like obviously to Thatch, like, if you made eye contact with him, he is obviously looking at you like fucking mad or disgruntled.
Right.
All right.
So.
I'm out £5
You made the bed, not me. And
Go
he-
fuck
he
yourself,
hands-
Private Thatch.
To be fair,
He hands the
Graham,
hand
you're
on
not
over.
very good at those.
Why do I keep losing money?
Because you keep making bets. I believe I have about what, £50 from you now.
It's not the only pound you've gained since the war started, Morose.
Yeah, it's all the liquor.
So that's where the
Thatch
regression
is
has been
enjoying
going.
this. He's having a great time.
I fucking love Thatch's laugh. I know that's a character
Nice.
choice you're making. It's good. It's an
He's a good
intentional-
little
It's a
man.
good laugh. Yeah, I love it.
All right. Well, I think that is a pretty decent spot to take a break. And funny you should mention a camp. What camp? This is the command post for the area.
Well, when we get back to, I meant in like the fucking like project place we were staying at beforehand.
Okay, gotcha.
Because presumably, because that's like a big area that we presumably will go back to at some point. Like, so it's just kind of like, hey, while we're on a mission, let's not lose focus at the moment.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, in that case, I think now is a good time to go on a break. So we will be seeing you in about 15 minutes or so. So stay tuned. We are back from our break. And I think we're ready to do a little bit of resolving as to what happens next. Now, Second Lieutenant Faulkner, you're the one who has the bayonet and wants to do a little bit more looking into it, yes? Correct?
So I just want to get a fucking vibe off of it before I have
Just wanna
anything
get a-
happen.
Just want to get a fucking vibe off of it.
A
Alright?
fucking vibe off of it.
Fucking vibe. I want you to give me a Whispers roll using, the Whispers skill that you're trained in and whatever that corresponds to. And I want a target number of 2.
Yeah, fucking Whispers is, my Whisper is smarts. So I just get like, I'm just rolling smarts.
Yes, but you also get the benefit of the training and any points that you have in the Whispers skill.
Which is 1. So I have 3 in smart, so 4. Okay, got it. Right. I can keep 1 point in the chamber, as always.
Yep.
Fuck me. Okay, you spend my point to re-roll 2 of those dice.
Alright.
Fuck me.
Okay.
An 8.
In sort of examining this thing and the bayonet and the sort of scratches on it, the scratched in markings and symbols, you get the impression that this can be used and it would be helpful in terms of utilizing Whispers, but you're not sure how.
Fascinating.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, not a complete wash. Alright, tuck that one away.
Also, Faulkner, if you could give me a roll for corruption, please. Or rather,
Oh,
a draw
fuck.
for corruption.
How do I do that? I just draw a card.
Just draw a card and let me know privately what it is, and then drag it out and delete it. Also, you all, I don't think I asked you to throw out your cards from the journey that you put out. Those need to be deleted as well, so if you wouldn't mind doing that while we have the
Yes. Oh,
chance.
okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I return it to the void.
Guess who
Not
has
that
no
card.
cards? Woo!
Woo!
Oh no.
My oh my, what a pickle you're in.
Unfortunate.
Tragic.
You best roll really well.
Unfortunate.
I only have 3 cards, question mark?
I deleted my own card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Very good. So let me just do a little housekeeping when it comes to that. All right.
Clean up. A little sweepy sweep.
So, your current plan is to continue away from the command post and maybe try to get back to the sort of research posts that you were previously stationed at.
There was that, but I just had the thought now as how on the map I found, by the way, that one unmarked depot, how far was that?
Honestly, it's not that far at all. It's relatively close by. You could probably make it there within like an hour's walk.
Alright, here's the scuttlebutts, lads. We got a depot that might be interesting. That's not far from here.
Let's go to the depot.
I was going to suggest that we go there since it's not far. Seems connected to everything else that's going on. As much as I want to get back to the fucking research station and have a good night's rest for once.
Possible.
Yeah, well, depends on the whiskey. I think we should go to the depot.
Depot doesn't sound like a bad option.
Especially if it resolves our other current standing problem, which is finding those that missing unit.
Okay.
Or at
McKinley-
least what happened to them.
What are those hats, the fucking med kits he has?
McKinley just kind of shrugs. He's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Right. It is, the map is fairly clear, despite its age and despite the sort of, hastily scrawled pencil markings, and, it's relatively easy to make your way down the dirt paths through the area, through the sort of sprawling, rolling fields of French countryside. And it's it's not a depot. As you approach, you realize that it's within a copse of trees, and it's just one of the things that is in the area. It wasn't exactly specified on the map, but you, Faulkner, and you, Morose, since you've been here longer than the other two, you would absolutely recognize any soldier worth their salt knows exactly where an artillery battery likes to hole up, and this is definitely a place like that.
Fun.
This is my definition of fun. Well,
You know, mine usually involves cards, but and he fucking by this point he's probably been holding his fucking rifle the whole time. Got the book tucked away somewhere.
alright, I want Morose with me. I give Thatch a little pat and I say, can you stick with McKinley? And I kind of like whisper to him, keep an eye on the boy.
Yes, sir. Right.
Right, Morose, take point on this. I'm with you.
Right. Keeps his gun at the ready for any quick fire. And let's make our way in.
Okay. You sort of enter the copse of trees, and it's not too dense, so it doesn't take too long for you to see where the guns are set up. But the same sort of feeling, that same droning silence seems to come across you both, and as you draw closer to where the guns are set up, it's very obvious that there's no one here, no one living at least. There are some bodies strewn about, all British soldiers it looks like, and on one of the trees, you can check the tags, and on one of the trees there is a soldier who has been strung up with barbed wire. It looks like Also, from where he has been eviscerated, the blood seems, well, it is thick and it is coagulating, but it is definitely far more freshly dead than the ones you encountered at the command post.
Oh, it's that one.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like that one, but
So you check the tags, morose, and it's. I won't make you roll for it. It's fairly obvious. Most of these are lower ranking soldiers. They're folks who are posted out with the artillery. The one thing that sort of pops out to you as something to notice is that the highest ranking person here is indeed the one who's strung up. It looks like they were in command of the battery.
I just say, hey, someone's in for a promotion.
It's hell of a promotion. Fuck.
All right.
And none of these corpses are our guys.
Not from the description. No, it looks like they all belong to an artillery unit, judging by the insignia.
Right. Well, let's give it a look around.
All right.
Yeah. Right.
I want both of you to roll me some investigation, and I want 3 successes between the two of you.
That's easily doable.
Yeah.
I hope so.
There's 2.
I will spend my 1 point to re-roll my entire pool.
Okay.
Please.
That's okay. We are full
Son of a
stop
bitch.
failure.
Son of a bitch.
Okay. Alternatively, I will also allow
You have a
you
card,
to
do we have cards?
roll. You do have cards.
Oh, I do have cards.
that.
Actually, I should burn a card. Actually,
Now
remind
hold
me.
on. Before you burn a card, we're being given like an alternative.
I would allow you to roll a knowledge check, but between the two of you, it would have to be a 4.
Yeah,
Target
that's
number
not
of
gonna
4
happen.
successes.
That's not gonna happen.
Fuck
So
that, burn a
remind
card.
me
I
how
did the last one.
remind me how burning cards works again with
Burning a
abilities?
card basically gives you an additional point to fuck around with your
Gotcha.
roll with.
I'm gonna burn a card. Do I need to just tell you, like, show you what the card is specifically? You, Iris?
No, you can drag it out. Just keep in mind what
Cool.
the suit is, so I can, let me just take that.
Yeah.
So, burning this card, you
You
get to re-roll, and then,
Yep.
we'll go through that.
Yeah.
see,
Fuck my life.
Those.
Finally,
There
2
we
extra
go.
successes.
Yes.
So, based on the suit of the card that you gave up, what exactly do you lose?
Can I get reminded what the suit was? Because I almost immediately forgot.
It was a club.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You lose a thing.
It was a thing.
Tangible object.
This is. Can it be a physical thing?
It could be. It would have to have a significant amount of importance to you, but yeah.
Sure,
it could
I'm
be.
thinking about that.
Can drops your
Oh.
lighter.
What was that?
Drops your lighter.
Here's something. I don't know. Is it too weak if I say I burn out my last cigarette that I have on me? And
You did give up a pretty high value card, I will say.
Oh, I
that.
did?
It was a
Okay,
face
fuck
card,
me.
so
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. All right. In that case, oh god, a face card for a thing. That's difficult, man. That's really difficult.
Thing, obstacles, adventure.
I don't. This is the one card suit that I don't know how to think of things with in terms of this context, because it's like it's so outside what the other ones are. Kind of. It's like, what do I lose in terms of a things sense, in an action adventure overcoming obstacles sense? Because I don't have That's so hard, man. Oh my god, I do not know.
I mean, we could also take it at face value of things. If there's a particular item that holds a significant amount of value to you, or rather, if you find that you hold a lot of value in a particular type of item, then
Okay.
that value, that your idea or how much value you hold in that could be lost as well. Something like that, if that makes sense.
Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna alter what I said before because this was a face card to make it a little bit more oomphy. I no longer get pleasure from substances.
Oh.
It's
Ooh,
not gonna
shit.
stop. It's not gonna stop me from using them, but I no longer have pleasure from them.
Oh, that sucks. Wow.
Does that do it for you, you sick bastards?
For now.
So anyway,
Love it.
you all rolled pretty well, all things considered. 4 successes between the two of you. So you make your way around the remains of this battery, and it's obvious that there was a significant struggle that took place here, and fairly recently, all things considered, from the way the blood is only seemingly really started to dry. Between the two of you and your experience with the battlefield, I mean, maybe within the past few days, if anything, is when all this happened. The other thing is that the soldier that's been strung up, the highest ranking one, would have been a corporal. So he was in charge of this battery, and he is eviscerated in what looks like the exact same way as the soldier from the command post. The ribs are broken, as if, from the inside out and exposed. And, actually, and you didn't pick up on this before, you were a little too busy with the bayonet, but, there are things missing, generally, and, you're not doctors or anything, you're not surgeons, but, generally where a heart is supposed to be on a body, and, it looks like that space is empty. And then the other thing, since you all got a 4, it's pretty nice. There are actually 2 things. The artillery looks a little strange, a little non-traditional, one might say. There's something a little off about the guns and the way they are and some of the equipment around here. And then also, well, all the injuries on that flayed body, like, it's been eviscerated, it's been flayed apart, you can see the insides of it, but it doesn't seem quite something. Listen, you've seen a lot of dead bodies, you've seen a lot of people die, but it looks like it's sustained a lot of damage after it sustained a lot of damage. Stuff that doesn't look like it should be there, if that makes sense. It doesn't make any sense. You see bullet holes, the torso is riddled through with bullet holes. You see that, one of the arms is sort of hanging off by a shred. That doesn't make any. Why would those injuries be so fresh if the body is strung up here with barbed wire and flayed?
Something came and picked at it.
You can never really call it one way or the other in this situation. I'm gonna say that, how about we just chalk it up to something bad happened here and call it good and let the boys in R&D properly worry about the particulars.
Are there any trails around?
Sure. Give
Good
me
idea.
a. This is going to be a little unorthodox, but I want a stealth check, actually. And I'd want, 1 success.
Just one?
Yeah, just 1. There we go.
This this isn't a situation in which if I get more successes, it makes a
No, it
better
is not.
outcome.
I would let you know.
Gotcha.
No, with one success, it's fairly it's fairly easy to tell where whatever aggressors came from. There's sort of a trampled area. There are, broken, torn apart bushes. The sort of amount of bodies kind of tends to gravitate towards that area, and you sort of look, and it's fairly obvious. You hazard that you could get a pretty good guess as to where either they came from or where they went.
What? Let's think about where they went. Harry's gonna single that out, and then motion to Faulkner the direction in which they went. The aggressor.
Yeah, Faulkner nods.
And what kind of aggressor, quote unquote, does this trail seem like? Multiple people, a big thing?
It looks like boots on the ground.
Okay.
Multiple boots on the ground, but yes.
Let's follow that.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Like Harry's just gonna go ahead and gun at the ready, just kind of quietly follow that trail.
Is there anything else you would like to do around the battery before you head off and head on? Also looking at McKinley and Thatch.
So, this is mostly flavor text, but McKinley unfortunately stared a little too long at the strung up body, to the point that he kind of his face turns a little green, and then he just bends over and pukes.
McKinley, make me a whispers roll, target number 1.
Ah, no! Okay.
You good, McKinley?
Let's see. Target number 1. So that would be...
So,
would
the
be
path
me.
you have uses brawn. So you've got the
Okay.
training, and you have the point, and then you have whatever your brawn skill is to fuck around with that roll. So you can add dice, reroll, etc., etc.
Okay.
One success? No, that's a typing.
That's yours.
Shoot,
noticed.
sorry. I've forgotten the command. Is it roll D...
Slash R,
one
and then
D6.
however many d6s you want to roll. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and do... So I have 1 in training already.
Yes. So you have 3 points to alter that roll however you see fit.
Okay. I'm gonna roll 2 of those, so I've got 3 total.
All right.
Okay, I got a success.
Neat, neat, neat.
There you go.
So with a success, you did spend a lot of time looking at that person, that corporal who was strung up to the tree, the barbed wire cutting into their flesh, the sort of way the skin was peeled away from the rib cage, and the way the ribs were broken from the inside out. But hold on. Wait, no, that doesn't... You despite the sort of churning feeling in your stomach, and despite having thrown up already once, looking at it, you notice a similarity between this corpse and the one you encountered at the command post. there's something. The bones, the ribs, and you're smart enough to know this, McKinley. Bones don't show white unless you scrape away at them, unless you specifically remove the viscera, and it looks like that's what happened here. It looks like whatever flesh was on these bones was scraped away and something has been carved into them. And you get the impression that these corpses, these I don't know, these people are are either in use or were used for some reason, but you're not really sure why.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Would he voice this? Or
Thatcher's already checking up on you.
yeah. I think he'd kind of lean into Thatch and he'd go, "Hey, did sorry for the throwing up, but
Hey, shit happens.
look at
What's
the
up?
body. Doesn't it seem a little familiar to that other one we saw?"
Does that ping Thatch at all? About
Oh,
it being familiar?
absolutely. You spent enough time investigating the previous body and having your foot on the bayonet that no, this actually looks really similar, almost as if the same methodology was used to flay the skin apart, to break the ribs, and yeah, no, it is really similar, isn't it?
Hate that.
Wait,
Thatch.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna just ask, were there any markings on the bones of the old one? Of the other one that had the bayonet stabbed into it, or?
Oh shit! Yeah, were there?
Because like
Yeah.
you mentioned there were
Mhm.
markings on the ribs for this one.
Right,
Mm.
right. The flesh was scraped away and there was markings on the bone.
Yeah.
You know, now that you think about it, Thatch, it is
Oh,
very
no.
similar. And now that you see the markings on the ribs in front of you, the way they're carved into the bone, it yeah, no, you're pretty sure that on the previous corpse there were as well.
Thatch is gonna start to approach the this new body.
Mhm.
On those ribs, the markings on the ribs, are they like runes? Do they match the knife by chance? Do they match anything on the book?
The book is blank, so there's no way that it
I
can
mean,
match
like,
anything on the book.
on like the cover of the book.
There's
Blank.
nothing on the cover of the
It's
book.
blank.
It's entirely
Okay,
blank.
just absolutely blank. Okay,
But as for the bayonet,
But
it seems like they're not the same, but it looks like a similar kind of form of whatever these symbols mean. As to what they mean, I mean, shrug.
It ain't fuck me, I guess. I'm gonna reach in my pack and like pull out the linen wrapped bayonet just to kind of like open it up and like, because I do want to examine this thing a bit more closely. I don't want to, but I feel like it's helpful to do so in these exact circumstances since these things seem to be related. I want to see if I can get a better understanding of what this thing fucking does, because
Sure.
I want to know what I'm getting my men into.
All right. Give me a whispers roll. I want a minimum of 1, and the more successes you have, the better.
You simply love to see it.
Love to see it,
love to see it.
You love to see it.
or not see it.
Fuck you.
Love you too, babe.
You need 2 successes, you said, or 1?
1, and then the more, the better. Above that.
Keep it in the always keep 1 in the chamber.
Good thing you did.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the 1. I'll bump the 4 up to a 5. I was contemplating, do I want to like re-roll the whole pool, see if I get lucky? No, I'm just gonna take the 1 success and call it good at that.
All right. as you take some more time to look over the bayonet and sort of compare the symbols on it versus the symbols carved into the ribs of the corpse, you there's almost kind of it's like a static or a whine in your head, and no, you know exactly what this thing does now. It's used for rituals. It's used for making whispers more powerful, actually. So mechanically,
Yeah.
this bayonet gives you an automatic success. One automatic success when you use
Ooh.
whispers.
That's useful.
And you get
Does
the
that only apply to one person, or can basically we fucking trade this thing off every so often to get its benefits?
It applies to the person who is holding it.
Okay,
so
cool.
you
we
could
have
give
a-
it to someone else if you wanted to.
We have a baton to pass off to one another.
A
for the-
fetish,
for
if
the
one
whisper-
would.
No.
No,
wouldn't.
Yes.
One would.
Wouldn't.
You do have a baton to pass around, so yes. And additionally, they are similar enough to what you've seen, what you know in terms of what you can do, and what you've seen in terms of what that shell did, that you know that whatever it's related to, whatever kind of whispers or domain of the others it's related to, it's not something you've encountered before.
Okay, good to know. Well, okay, so Faulkner nods and folds the bayonet back up. I was gonna keep that kind of like that closer access. A little bit more reassured in the knowledge that this thing is not necessarily evil, like in the sense of like, yes, this does something horribly bad. Directly, it's like, okay, it's more like a focal for power. It increases. Yeah, okay. So, but then, the dots begin to like connect in his head of like, if people were stabbed by these bayonets, then that means they were probably used in conjunction with some other power, which I'm suspecting, if there are not bayonets in these corpses, but the markings that they were stabbed, that whatever homeboys didn't get flayed by a knife, if you know what I mean. Homeboys got flayed by magic, and what we're witnessing is the amplified effect of whoever was using these on them. I forgot to ask, the corpses looked familiar, right? So it's like, were their rib cages also exploded outward?
The vast majority, and by vast majority I mean every other corpse, looks like it was killed by normal mundane means, either shot to the torso, the stomach, or stabbed or something like that. The only corpse that looked like it was killed, or at least altered in a supernatural way, is the one of the highest ranking soldier who has been strung up.
Gordon, what were you gonna say?
I don't recall. Oh wait. So are you saying that like the bayonet itself fucking amplifies like that flaying effect, or do you think like some other magical force, a person who was holding it, who kind of has the powers of the whispers, was doing that? Like, do you think the bayonet itself has the magic, or the person that was holding the bayonet that did it, possibly?
I think it's both. I think it is like the bayonet itself is like magic, like it is a focal point. This is like my theory, is a focal point of magic. So it is inherently a powerful object. However, in order for it to be used effectively, it requires a powered individual with intent to unleash it.
Yes, and that would be reasonable enough for you to grasp. Correct.
That fucking knife is a magic wand.
It's a magic wand.
It's a magic wand.
And my other
Imagine
question...
Harry Potter pulling out a fucking bayonet like fucking Alakazam.
Alakazam stab.
Turn.
My other question would be: are these also British soldiers?
Yes, they are all British soldiers. The soldiers are all British, including the highest ranking one that's strung up. You actually don't see any. I mean, you don't see any corpses of enemy soldiers. The guns here all look British. Actually, the artillery guns are a little atypical, if that makes sense. Something is kind of a little off about them, but otherwise, no. Everyone here seems like they were on quote unquote your side.
The guns are atypical.
And would this be because I've never been in like a war setting? Would it be plausible to recognize like German boots? Would there be like maybe different tracks, different footprints, kind of similar to ones that Thatch was tracking before when we were tracking that one group through the gas?
Yeah, I would say that there were enough prints and enough perceived people or whatever else that came through here that it would be very difficult to get a specific whomst is this, if that makes sense. You could tell where they would be going or where they came from, but as for a very specific quote make and model, that's a little beyond what could be gleaned.
Yeah, I figured. I just wanted to ask just to be sure.
Yeah, no, good question.
That was a good question.
So I have a theory that these British soldiers were part of the same group that your boy was, who was back at the barn. I have a feeling that they were probably heading towards that depot, maybe, and then they had gotten attacked by something, but I'm a little unsure. I want to know what you guys think.
I think you're on the right path of that, although from the context clues I've picked up, I think what's happening is, so that command post obviously was a command post. It was a place where communications came in and out. It was a command post. It was flatline, simple. British soldiers were stationed there. Yeah. There are a bunch of British depots. They were marked on the maps. We had learned already that that from the previously that one group, that one unit went missing after looking into a bunch of like hits on depots. The reports at the command station said that a mysterious group and that patchwork soldier who would not get killed by any shot was attacking a bunch of British depots. And the map I found had a bunch of depots listed, crossed out. This was one of the only ones that was not crossed out. This was the only one that was not crossed out aside from the command post. My thought is, whoever this patchwork soldier is has been hitting up these depots for a reason. This depot that we're at is prior to the boys at the command post getting fucked up, unattacked. It's been attacked. Like it is the most recent hit, I think. So that means we have the best chance of finding information of possibly what are in these depots that these things are attacking. Because is this like a random, just cripple a depot, or are there things in these depots that are valuable to these supernatural soldiers?
Okay.
The look on Atlas's face makes me feel vindicated, so I'm gonna take the W where I can get it.
Morose, if you will.
You said the guns were atypical.
They were atypical, actually.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, brain cell. Yes, thank you.
And
let's go ahead and take a look at those.
Yeah, let's take a look. Give me an investigation roll. The more successes you have, the better. However, I will let you know that you will have a baseline of knowledge even if you don't get a single success. Okay?
May I assist him with that?
All right. There isn't specifically in this. I'll be transparent here. There isn't a particular mechanic that allows for assistance in this system. However, I will allow your assistance to grant an additional point for Morose to fuck around with his roll with, if that makes sense.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And since you're not under fire, everything's calm and quiet, there's time, so I will allow that.
1 plus that extra point, I'm just gonna re-roll that too.
Okay. Nice.
Boom, two
Fuck
successes.
yeah, let's go.
Fuck yeah.
Okay. You've been around the artillery boys before. All right. You've passed them. You've back and forth actually. You pass them coming and going, and you kind of know how they work and how the guns work. And these guns are not. They're not exactly quote up to spec. In fact, there is the barrels of the guns. They're not smooth like you would expect them to be. There are things carved into them. You're not sure what they would be, but they're symbols of some kind. Where you would expect to find, a rangefinder, sort of, glasses or binoculars with, degrees on them, used to try and attempt to find the location of enemy batteries. They're also different. Instead of regular lenses, they're almost like stones, crystals of some kind. It doesn't, just from a outside glance, it doesn't make too much sense, but no. Symbols on the barrels of the guns, sort of crystals in replacement of the lenses on the rangefinders. It's
Magic.
not right.
So, here's what I'm thinking. We got something new. There's now a third party, rightfully and properly involved in our little skirmish. It's no longer just us and them. It's us, them, and the
them.
others. And those others, I think, might be more intelligent than we've been giving them credit for this far.
Oh, we can't exactly give them credit if we don't know they exist.
We've been killing a bunch of the things that they've been spawning. Like, what
I'm
do you think
assuming
that?
they're spawning it?
Where do you think they're coming from?
Any guess that I make is just as naive as one that you would.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm not an expert on these things. But all I'm saying is, lads, we have confirmed reports of some soldiers that belongs to no nation in particular and might represent a third party in some esoteric sense.
You think we have traitors?
No. No, I don't think you could call these traitors necessarily. I'm thinking this is more like I mean, can you betray what you don't owe allegiance to? If this is people from either of our sides gone hinky, as you Americans would say, I don't necessarily think it counts as treachery if it's under the influence or perhaps gall of some dark force. What I'm getting at is, though,
Possession.
we have seen from the Jerrys that they have experimented with whatever strange fuckery is afoot. It stands to reason that our side, in their own ways, will be fucking around with it too, and perhaps these others, we'll just call them others for now, they're interested in our fuckery, or at the very least they don't like our fuckery and are culling the herd.
Very much a possibility.
Very much.
And he taps on the runes on the barrel of the artillery weapon.
Yeah, since I got some whispers, can I, with my whispers, like I did with the bayonet, Okay. Alright, so yeah, I would rather get some information than no information. Game Master, I would like to burn this card.
I'm gonna be honest, I can probably guess what these runes do.
Well, I know, but I want to see if I can glean even more. I would like to burn that card, GM.
Okay.
One on the barrels
So
for accuracy and or power, and the crystal on the field
and
precise.
yeah, do I re-roll or do I bump it? No, I'll take this one. I don't want to risk for nothing. I will make one of those a 5, so I at least get one success on that. Should I say what I lose now?
Yeah.
Yep.
This was brought up last session, so I'm gonna do a little payoff on that. This I'm burning a Queen of Hearts, but I feel like it's only necessary based on the card type and what I mentioned last session. I have completely forgotten about my experience with my girl in Warsaw. I have lost it is the memories of that relationship fade into the oblivion of war as I shift my priorities to other things in life.
She was beautiful, you think? Maybe. Maybe once. Anyway.
I'm so sad.
So,
Fuck.
looking over what you
I'm
have
actually
before
tearing up
you.
a little bit. Damn.
Looking over what you have before you. The sigils, I guess the inscriptions on the barrel of the gun, they look to be as if, I mean, how else would you put this? As though some kind of power was used to guide whatever was being shot out of that barrel. And actually, sort of taking a closer look and peering down the barrel very carefully, mind you, gun safety is still a thing, but even amidst the rifling on the inside, you still see almost little notches, little kind of radium glows of what you can only presume would be added to whatever shell was put through here. And there is a cache of shells nearby, and they don't seem as altered as the ones that you or rather as the one that you recalled, but there's still something going on. And as for the viewfinder, the rangefinder, the crystals, if you would you mind me saying that you put it up and look through it? All right, you put it up and you look through it, and it's dark, and God, it hurts. It's a flash of a migraine, and you see a flash of bright light and streaks going into one point of light far on the horizon, and then it's gone as quickly as it came.
Fucking ow. I'm alright.
You sure?
Yeah, don't look through the fucking viewfinder.
Whatever it was, it seemed to convene on some point in the distance.
Yeah. Alright, so fuck all that fucking hurt me. Hold on. Alright. Here's what I factored. These things shoot really fucking well and weird. That full stop. But either way, they are weird. And I can see why an other would be interested in us not using them.
I see.
Yeah.
So they're magically accurate.
Hey, Moros,
Yes.
go fuck yourself.
Once we get back.
Aye.
Is that not correct? No.
No, it's correct. That's where I told him to go fuck himself.
That's usually when he tells me to go fuck myself.
Right.
When I'm
Yeah,
right.
roundabout. Alright, listen, I let's give the place another look-see, right? We want to be thorough. Any information we have, let's utilize it. Because we either take this information and go back and sit on it, work with it, find something to do with it, or we go on a hunt. Because this is pretty fucking recent.
Well, if this is really recent,
I know which way they went.
either they might be here, or we should get the fuck out.
You know where they went, Morose?
Gestures in the direction of the fucked up foliage.
Here's what I say, boys. Here's what I say. Looking around at our faces, we're all good men in one way or another. And I don't want any of us thinking ill of each other. It is a needless liability to think ill of your unit. I kind of like fumble around just for a couple things nearby. And I just pull out. God, how do I want to phrase this? I'll like grab like looking around the area. I find like some empty receptacle, or like it could just be like a fucking box, like, or like a small little, like, actually no, we have mess kits. I pull out a fucking like tin cup, and I just pull out like little scraps of paper, and just one of the pencils, and I just say, do we go back to camp? Or we follow the trail? We're gonna vote anonymously.
We're really doing this.
Because
There's
I don't want us
4.
arguing. Hey, there is.
Anonymous
All right.
vote. All right, DM me your anonymous vote. If we follow or try and go back.
We're really gonna
Just
do
let
an
me know.
anonymous vote. There's nothing to be ashamed of if you're afraid.
Morose, you wanted to kill the reporter. I just want to keep this below any possible capacity of later judgment.
Well, just so I'm doing my job for my country, I'm gonna start threatening the privates.
That's the most British thing you've said thus far.
Oh God. All right, we have 2 votes.
That kind of
in,
writes
waiting
on
the other
a
2.
piece of paper, folds it and puts it in. Doesn't really say anything about it. Just
Morose is like holding the piece of paper that he was given, and he's still fine. Like, he has that look of, this is fucking ridiculous, and he doesn't even write it down. Look, my vote is that we go on a hunt. I'm not ashamed of that.
I'm not saying you need to be ashamed, then very well. The 3 of us will just keep our thoughts to ourselves, and we'll see what we say.
You do that.
Alright. I shuffle the hat, the little cup around. The 3 little pieces of paper just dump into my hand. Give them a look-see.
Yep, we're waiting on the last vote real quick.
Sorry, there's just one that's stuck. There's one stuck in the bottom of the cup. I'm trying to get out. Hold on, let me just.
Yeah. You sort of fish it out. It was a little,
Got it.
it's kind of stuck in
It's
the
a little
corner
wet
there,
now.
but it's
Okay.
unanimous. You're going hunting.
All right. No dissenting voices.
No hunting
That was fucking
horses.
pointless. All right, let's go on a hunt.
My point exactly. Thank you. Someone's finally fucking listening.
I don't listen to the British.
Yeah, you haven't yet.
hey, we didn't win a
And
war.
yet, how many times have you told me to go fuck myself?
I've lost count after 2,500 and go fuck yourself.
Yeah, see, exactly. Again, and he turns to the privates. He does that when I'm right.
Mm.
And he points to the direction of where he actually did the snap and
Yeah,
points
nice.
to the direction of where the aggressors.
I'll grab a magic gun for posterity.
So do they all start walking?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
and
say Morose takes point on it, and he's going to be very cautious.
Okay.
you know,
Yeah,
we're
then otherwise we
actually
start walking.
coming up towards the end of our time slot, and I think that's probably as good a stopping point as we're gonna get to. So I'm going to call it there. How
Well,
do you
Jordan,
guys
what
feel
were you
about
gonna
that?
say?
I wanted Thatch to have a moment with McKinley, but if we're
No, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Okay,
We're coming up like early on.
Yeah. So while we're walking, Thatch kind of like pulls McKinley aside, just like as a bit of like a friendly like, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah, of course. What is it?
I feel like we can be honest with each other about something. Is there something that you're not telling us?
So McKinley kind of bites his tongue, like chews on it a little bit, trying to decide if he wants to say anything. And then he decides, fuck it, might as well be honest. And so he's like, I don't know how to explain this really, so bear with me here. And he's like talking in low voices. He kind of takes a glance toward Faulkner before continuing. He's like, ever since that mission with the he pulls a face, the rats. Do you remember that shell that Faulkner took care of?
Yeah. What about it?
Ever since I looked at it, you've heard of the whispers, right?
Would Thatch have heard of the whispers by now? Like, because this is like the last thing that he went into the gas. That was his first time seeing like war up front that we've acknowledged.
You would have heard rumors of something strange happening on the fronts. Not any specifics, but you would have heard that perhaps things weren't all as they seemed.
Not much, but I might have heard a thing or two.
Right. So I think I can hear them. It's like this itching in the back of my head, and the fact that the Raven said I was special. I don't know. I've just been hearing things ever since that our last mission, and I've got some suspicions of Faulkner. I think he isn't being entirely honest either. He knows something. He's heard them before, I swear. There was just this look we had back at the command center. Do you understand? I'm sorry, I sound absolutely crazy, and
I think I get what you're going for.
I don't want to cut this off because I love this, but I'm sorry, you saying that specifically makes me so want to just, as that you're replying, Faulkner and Morose are like up on the nearby hill. Faulkner just turns and looks to see this conversation happening. Doesn't hear anything. Just as you're both talking, at that moment he looks and sees you two talking, and his eyes just kind of narrow.
And Morose, who has been leading point, takes immediate notice that the one following him had gotten distracted, turns to him, and just gives him a smack on the chest with the back of his hand.
Fuck
Basically.
you. Just-
Asshole.
I was just checking on them. A sharp whistle. You coming, you fucks?
Yeah. What the fuck are you doing?
That holds up a hand, and with no stutter, he says, "We're on our way. On our way."
McKinley kind of also nods as well and sort of waves at the two commanders, and he starts.
Fucking
He-
Croydon
he
acting
looks
as
to
if they're
Thatch
at
for a
summer
second.
camp.
I wouldn't want to keep him waiting.
You got a point. Yeah, let's go.
But and Thatch kind of like still like holds, not holding McKinley, but like just kind of like holding the conversation. But I wouldn't be afraid of Faulkner, because maybe he was keeping it to himself just like you for a reason.
He kind of nods in thought slowly, and
I just didn't want to assume anything bad.
yeah,
You know.
right. I understand. Sorry. I didn't say anything. I was just. It's weird. I never would have expected anything like this when I was still in training, but damn.
Can you make me a promise, at least?
Sure.
Those whispers. Don't lose yourself to them. Okay?
I'll do my best. I'd rather not lose myself, you know. he sort of chuckles and gives like a half smile, but you can tell he's still pretty darn worried.
And Thatch kind of leaves like that moment in the air just for a second before swallows and continues forward.
Morose, it's easy enough to follow the trail. From what you can tell, the people or the aggressors or whatever it was that came into this battery left the same way. So it's easy enough. And the trail can't have been older than, a day or two. And so a lot of you go on your hunt. And I think with that, we will leave our unit and we will leave our mission for now. So thank you so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much, my players, for being here. We will be back in, 5-10 minutes or so. Do a little post-show talk. For anyone on YouTube, it's a little thing we do after the stream, Twitch only, baby. So tune in if you'd like to, and we will catch you in a bit. Thank you so much. And also, any questions you got, be sure to post them in. Thank you.